Hi guys, it's Sorter here and today we are going to speed paint an Imperial Fist. I want to start with a list of the various steps I'm going to take so you can go back to this point and follow the steps while you're working. I'm going to start with black primer. You could start with red primer if you have it to skip a step this way, going even faster. Now I am base coating the model. I don't want to use airbrushes, so I am going to use makeup brush for this to make the process quick. Of course, you go from a bigger size, and in the smaller recesses you can use a smaller size. Make sure you don't load it excessively, just unload it on a paper towel and then check if the model is not flooded with color, basically. But just moving the brush quickly, the color should spread evenly upon the full model. This is the first step. Okay, now just grab a white or ivory in this case and apply the highlights. To make sure to apply your highlights in the right position, just hold your model under the lamp, choose the light source that will please you best. Then when you spot lighter red upon your model, you can just cover it with a coat of ivory. Without being too precise, just make a rough sketch of the highlights basically. I am avoiding to cover the eagle on the chest because I will paint it later of another color. You can be precise as much as you want, it depends on the time you have to paint your army basically. Now with a makeup brush I am expanding the light areas upon the model. You can also use a less cheap alternative like Artis Opus, Dry Brush or Rosemary's and Co. I think they have better brush. This is synthetic and I could get a better result and faster with an high quality tool like Got Bristol's brush for dry brushing. Just make sure to unload your brush, especially when you use bigger sides, because they tend to load a lot of water and color inside them. Of course, the more we expand this effect, the less color we want to apply. We want to go a bit transparent. Now I am mixing a slightly darker color for the back because I want it to get less light. Supposing to have a main light source and the environment on the back. You may ask why I'm painting this model pink. This is because at the end when you apply yellow upon pink you will obtain orangey yellow, very strong and saturated. This is how it looks like. We have established the lights and shadows of our model. Now it's time to outline the model. I'm using a nail brush with long bristles, retarder medium mixed with the reddish brown. You can use mahogany from Pro Acrylic. but every mahogany on or reddish brown will work. You can see retarder medium gives me the opportunity to erase my mistakes with just a little bit of water and a clean brush. You don't want to outline everything on the model, just the most important areas, just to make the model less blurry and more defined. And this is the final result. Now the model is defined. We are going to apply yellow. I'm using a contrast color for this. You can use inks as well, but with yellow even regular color are very transparent, so you can even use a regular acrylic yellow. Apply it very diluted on the highlights, and the more you go into the shadows, the thicker applications. I like Yanden yellow because if you dilute it, it looks like a bright yellow, and if you apply it thicker, it will shift to orange. This is a step that you can make in a few minutes or take your time and do it better. It depends on the time you have, the will you have to do a good job or a quick one. Now a little trick. I like color theory, and when you mix pinkish magenta with yellow, you will obtain an orange almost red result. The result will be one of the brightest orange you can get, one of the most saturated. So as you can see here, the color will dry and look very orangey and strong on the shadows. To highlight the armor, I'm going to mix just ivory and a bit of yellow contrast. I'm going to use an old brush to stipple the highlights, adding texture. We are going to use what we have on the palette. We don't need to open bottles and change many colors. To finish the armor, I'm just going to paint the specular highlights, applying pure ivory. Now I am just base coating the details. The details that will look black will be covered with burnt umber. In the end, they will look like a warm black. To make the final result more coherent with the environment and light situation, I'm going to use only warm colors and just cold color in the lens to give the most of the contrast on the face where the attention of the viewer will be lead. Now with burnt red I am going to paint the other details, the shoulder trim and the eagle on the chest. Now I am going to dilute pure black and applying a wash all over the details just to darken them. As you can see, the brown, it's starting to look like the highlights of the black areas, especially of the bolter gun. Now I am mixing ivory and burnt umber to highlight these black areas. Those steps can be avoided to go even faster, but if you have time, you can do them whenever you want. So now with my nail brush, using the long bristles, I am applying scratches. If you have a light touch, they will be very fine because of the long bristles. And to finish it, I am just applying a bright highlight upon them. I'm using red to finish the red areas, just to have a little bit of volume and to make them look less flat and with just one color. Now for the eyes, just use a cyan. Those colors covers very well, so you don't need to apply white or other colors underneath. Just straight Andrea blue from Vallejo or average cyan. I think it will work. Apply a little bit of cyan diluted to make the glow effect, and finish it mixing a little bit of ivory in the cyan pool and highlight the center part of the eye lens. As you can see, a color out of the color gamuts will contrast and drag most of the attention to it. Now I am finishing the whole effect, correcting a little bit my colors by mixing contrast yellow and neon magenta. This will correct the various mistakes we did during the split process. This will also add a little bit of volume to the model. We have almost finished now, we just need to paint the base. We can do this very quickly just by mixing fluo pigment and regular pigments to create a very bright Martian soil. If you have pigment fixer, you can just apply thick layers and a few drops, and when it dries it will look like this. Or you can apply several layers as I did and seal it with matte varnish. This will take more coats because the airbrush will push the pigments away from the base, so you need 2 or 3 coats to finish the model. And now I will just paint the trim of the base with primer to make it stronger, and this is the final result. I hope you like it and see you next time. Bye bye and thank you so much.